Sullivan. I was a former IRS agent and teaching instructor. Don't blame me. I used to seize a lot of stuff when I worked at IRS. I worked at IRS during the cocaine cowboys days of South Florida. I used to go in and seize their assets. I'm still alive to tell about it. I've worked thousands of IRS cases, and I've been in private practice for 42 years. So whatever I tell you is kind of like best defense strategies plus what IRS thinks of cases. And this is what I'm going to talk to you today about so you understand. My videos are short, they're quick, just get in and out of these real quick. So if you owe IRS tax debt, what is IRS going to think about your case? Well, you have to understand you work case after case after case, sometimes hundreds, thousands, mostly thousands. Average inventory of a revenue officer is probably 70. They probably turn those over, I don't know, a couple times a year. They may work 300-400 cases a year. And when you work so many cases, you know patterns, you know when people lie, just by looking at the surface of the case. So basically, when an IRS agent looks at, they look what's abnormal, they look for anomalies, and they look for what stinks about the case. So easy to tell. First of all, just know that IRS doesn't care about your story. I never cared about the story. Why? It's academic. You have to close your case, and you have to close your case based on the financial statement and records available right then and there for the last 6 months, maybe the last year. So IRS is compressing everything in the last year. They'll feel sorry for you if there's been medical problems. Many times you're wrenched up, and it's sad to hear all the stories you get as an agent. You don't have to listen to them, but you do. But at the end of the day, really doesn't make a difference. It's okay to comfort someone, but you still got to close your case, and you have to close your case really based on the facts. So I want you to know something. Your current financial statement that you give them, whether it's a 433F up in the service center, that's the financial statement, or a 433A, the longer financial statement a revenue officer will use, or a 433B business financial statement a revenue officer will use. They just want a determination on the last 6 months. Why do they use 6 months? Because usually whatever happens in the last 6 months is going to be what's going to happen in the future for the next 6 months. So it's just so smooth. That's how they work cases. So when you give IRS a financial statement, they're going to, like I say, look for what doesn't make sense. So they're going to look and say, okay, that's a balanced financial statement. That makes sense. This person is living above their means. This person isn't paying their taxes because of what? So when you look at a case as an IRS agent, you look for the stink, you look for what doesn't make sense, and you look to bring balance to the financial statement, because at the end of the day, when you close your case, you have to be able to explain in your history what the correct statement is, and if it isn't, why it's not making sense. So if you owe IRS tax debt, it's far better to have somebody look at your case beforehand, because IRS is going to dig into it if you don't. And that's where I come into play. I can make sense, and you don't want IRS to make sense of it first. You want me to make sense of it. I hope that makes good common sense. That's all I got today. Remember, everything must make sense, and it must always pass the smell test, because the agent has looked at thousands of cases, and they know every move you're going to make on a chess or checkerboard. Have a good one. Give me a subscription. Thank you so much.